Hi, it's Katrina! From secret subterranean cinemas to mysterious spheres with a life of their own, here are 8 incredible underground discoveries. Number 8. The Williams Enigmalith. While on a hike in 1998, electrical engineer John J. Williams spotted what looked like an electrical plug protruding from the ground, and so he began digging. The 3-pronged plug he discovered was embedded in a small rock. Williams claimed that the bizarre item was unearthed in a remote location in North America, far from plants, factories, and industrial complexes. You know, places where you might expect to find an identified or strange-looking electrical device. Out of an alleged fear that other mysterious relics will be discovered by curious treasure hunters, Williams refuses to give the exact location of where he found the device. The item is known as an enigmalith, a combination of the words enigma and monolith, or a petrodox. Due to the secrecy and wild extraterrestrial theories surrounding the object, many members of the scientific community have dismissed the enigmalith as a hoax. They have even rejected Williams' invitation to make the rock available to any researcher for analysis. As long as he's present, the stone is unharmed, and he doesn't have to pay for it. A geological analysis found the granite rock to be around 100,000 years old. And according to Williams, who's had the rock examined by an engineer and a geologist, the specimen bears no signs of its plug-like feature having been affixed in any way, including welding or the use of glue. Williams has also willingly provided an X-ray of the rock, which shows that the 3-pronged structure extends into an internal structure within the stone. What are your thoughts? Is the rock a hoax, or is the scientific community fearful, perhaps, of what they might find if they investigate? Let me know in the comments below. Number 7. The Screaming Mummy. In 1886, Gaston Maspero, head of the Egyptian Antiquities Service, happened upon an unusually plain burial box while going about his typical work duties. The conspicuously unmarked container provided no clues whatsoever as to the identity of the person inside. Things only got weirder when Maspero opened the mysterious vessel. The body inside was wrapped in sheepskin, a sign that it was thought of as unclean, and the limbs were bound in leather. Most shockingly, the mummy's face conveyed a terrified expression, its mouth having been left wide open. Experts speculated that the mummy, nicknamed Unknown Man E, had been tortured to death in some way, buried alive perhaps, or maybe poisoned. Researchers later figured out that such an agonized facial expression is simply the result of a mummy's jaw not being strapped shut. However, the peculiar burial methods of Unknown Man E indicate that there were other mysterious circumstances surrounding his death. Earlier this year, experts revealed that they finally think they know who the mummy is, the son of Ramses III, who was hanged after plotting to kill his father. The connection between father and son was detected through DNA analysis of the bones. CT scans revealed that multiple assailants cut off the man's toe and slit his throat. Number 6. Roman coins in Japanese castle. In late 2016, archaeologists dug up 10 rusty copper coins behind Katsurin Castle, a UNESCO heritage site in Japan. 4 of the little round things were instantly recognized as originating from the Roman era by archaeologist Toshio Tsukamoto, who had previously studied sites in Italy and Spain. They were traced back to the 3rd and 4th centuries of the European kingdoms. A 5th coin inscribed with the year 1687 was determined to be from the Ottoman Empire. Although Tsukamoto stated that there was no mistaking the authenticity of the coins, Masaki Yoku, a city official in charge of the excavation project, asserted that at first they didn't know that the little round things were coins, and even mistook them for armor parts. The image of Constantine I is inscribed on one of the coins, while another displays a helmeted figure stabbing an enemy with a spear and holding a shield in his other hand. Why were Roman and Ottoman coins discovered as far away as Japan? Experts are certainly somewhat baffled by this. The team that found the treasure believes it could have been brought to Japan centuries later by Chinese or Southeast Asian explorers or traders, and then planted during a pacifying ritual at the castle, which was abandoned in 1584. They think that it was probably used as decoration or treasure rather than currency. And now for number 5. But first, if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Glad to see you again. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe before you leave and join us. Number 5. A cinema. In late 2004, Parisian police made a startling discovery among the city's already perplexing and extensive 170-mile underground network: a cinema. The force's sports squad, which is responsible for patrolling these tunnels and catacombs, was performing a training exercise when they encountered a tarp with a sign on it reading, "Building site, no access." Behind the tarp was a tunnel containing a desk and a closed-circuit surveillance system. The camera was set to take photos of anyone who passed, and the system was also set to automatically play a recording of dogs barking. The tunnel led to a spacious amphitheater with terraces and chairs cut into the rock. Inside the auditorium, police found a full-sized cinema screen, projection equipment, and a variety of films. According to a spokesperson, none of the films were controversial or banned. Next door, a smaller cave had been turned into a restaurant and bar, complete with tables, chairs, an inventory of spirits, and a pressure cooker. There were even 3 separate phone lines and professionally installed electricity. The police returned 3 days later with electricians to try to determine the source of the power, but all the lines had been cut and there was a note saying, "Do not try to find us," left on the floor. Number 4. Ships below San Francisco. During the California gold rush in the 1850s, thousands of ships sailed in and out of San Francisco's port, loaded with prospectors hoping to strike it big. They anchored in Yerba Buena Cove, which is now downtown San Francisco, and were often abandoned by the entire crew, who also set out in search for gold, because why not? These people had a serious case of FOMO. For some time, some of the ships were used for things like offices, stores, a hotel, and even a jail. Sometimes ships were left in the care of hired keepers, but they languished for so long, they too began to deteriorate. During the late 1800s, the port was filled in to accommodate the rapidly expanding city. During the process, at least 40 ships ended up buried beneath the streets of San Francisco, with some estimates ranging as high as 75. Some people sank their ships on purpose due to a legal technicality that entitled them to ownership of the property underneath the wrecked ship, which would be filled in sooner or later and would become a prime piece of downtown real estate. Pretty clever, huh? People also dumped sand and debris into the water, which was just a few feet deep in certain areas, to create their own land. The locations of some of the buried ships are marked, while others remain a very much unnoticed part of the city. Each day, thousands of passengers on the city's underground cable car even pass through the hull of a huge buried ship, which was simply left in place after workers digging a new rail tunnel discovered it in 1994. Number 3. The underground city of Derinkuyu. One Turkish man discovered an entire underground city in 1963 when he knocked out a basement wall while carrying out home renovations. That's a surprise for you. The vast network of rooms extends 200 feet below the ground. This city, Derinkuyu, is just one of many underground cities that the Cappadocia region of Turkey is known for. With 11 floors and enough space to shelter approximately 20,000 people, Derinkuyu is the largest of these underground cities. So far, just 2,000 square feet of Derinkuyu has been uncovered, but according to the Cappadocia tourism website, the city may occupy as much as 7,000 square feet. This and other underground cities in the region were used as refuges for members of Cappadocia's Christian minority during times of religious persecution. Many historians believe that the tunnels were originally built by an Indo-European people called the Phrygians between the 8th and 7th centuries BC. Others think that the Persians or Anatolian Hittites constructed the tunnels. When the Christians of Cappadocia took occupancy of the tunnels, they expanded the underground network and also built chapels and churches. Derinkuyu operated rather efficiently and much like any above-ground city at the time. The impressive underground enclave boasted stables, wine and oil presses, cellars, storage rooms, and even schools. Oxygen and water were provided to the city's inhabitants via a 180-foot ventilation shaft. Christians fled to the underground city as recently as the early 20th century, when the Ottoman Empire still controlled the region. In 1923, a population exchange occurred between Greece and Turkey as part of a plan to rid the respective areas of religious minorities, and most of the Cappadocian Christians were expelled from Turkey. Derinkuyu then sat untouched and unnoticed until someone decided to fix their home. Number 2. The Betz Mystery Sphere. In May 1974, a large brush fire swept across an 88-acre plot of woodland on Florida's Fort George Island. It had been recently acquired by Jerry and Antoine Betz. While reviewing the damage, the couple, along with their son Terry, discovered a strange polished metal orb, measuring slightly less than 8 inches in diameter. An elongated triangular shape was stamped onto its surface, but the item otherwise contained no identifying marks. The shocked trio wondered if the object was some sort of NASA or Soviet satellite, and they speculated that maybe it even had something to do with the cause of the fire. However, the metal ball bore no evidence of heat or collision damage, and there was no impact crater. Terry took the 22-pound sphere home and forgot about it until a few weeks later, when it began behaving strangely while he was playing his guitar. It started vibrating like a pitching fork as he strummed. Then the family noticed that their poodle became distressed near the ball. They also learned that the ball took on a life of its own when rolled on the floor, seemingly able to stop and change directions, often returning to the person who had rolled it. The family went public about the ball, and a media frenzy ensued. Military and government personnel expressed an interest in the object, and many even admitted that they were puzzled by its behavior. It was even examined by the Navy, who found it to be highly magnetic, but not to possess any radioactive properties. Jerry Betts would not allow them to cut into the sphere, however, and ordered it returned to her if it was not determined to be government property. The ball was given back to Mrs. Betts, and its current whereabouts are a mystery. Number 1. The Terracotta Army. In 1974, workers digging a well outside the Chinese city of Xi'an found a life-sized clay statue of a soldier poised for battle. The Chinese authorities were notified, and government archaeologists were dispatched to the site. During the excavation, thousands more of these clay soldiers, each possessing unique facial features and assembled according to rank, were found. The soldiers varied in height depending on rank, with generals being the tallest. Although the soldiers are mostly gray, they appear to have once been brightly painted, as evidenced by patches of paint on the statues. Archaeologists determined that the statues date back approximately to the late 3rd century BC. According to a 2007 estimate, there are around 8,000 terracotta soldiers in total. The trench-like subterranean headquarters occupied by the soldiers also contained clay horses with wooden chariots behind them, swords, arrow tips, and other weapons. These items, along with the thousands of clay soldiers, are all parts of an extravagant mausoleum that was created to accompany Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. Much of the 2,000-year-old tomb remains unexcavated, due primarily to concerns about the preservation of the artifacts, especially after the dry Qian air caused much of the remaining paint to crack and peel off the soldiers. There's also the fear of getting poisoned by mercury. The government does not want the emperor's tomb opened out of respect. However, there is a museum dedicated to the Terracotta Army that is open to visitors. Thanks for watching! What did you think of these incredible underground discoveries? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!